So Stardom recently had 2 shows on the same day, back to back, day and night. And I'm going to do a comparison of the two. I figured it would be kind of fun to see which matches from each show was better in their terms of placement on the card. So first match versus first match and so on. So let's get to it. The opening match of a promotion is very important in my opinion. It's supposed to pump you up and get you ready for the show. So the day show decided to have Ryo Onozaki versus Konami, while the night show had Natsuko Tora versus Saya Iida. Both matches had the same exact story in my opinion. We have an underdog trying to beat a giant, but ultimately losing. Now, this is going to be easy to compare since they have the same story, and it's not going to be as opinion-based in my opinion. It's going to be the one that was able to do the story the best, while still wrestling better. I'm going to give my opinion on which show should win before a rewatch and then after a rewatch. So while I was writing the script, I gave my opinion, and then I rewatched both matches, and then wrote the rest of the script for that match. So before the rewatch, I decided I was going to give it to the night show, as I felt like overall they had better wrestlers, mostly because my memory is pretty bad, so I kind of forgot the matches already by the time I was writing this, even though I had watched the shows a couple hours before. But what I mean by better wrestlers is that while Konami is better than the other 3 pretty much put together, Ryo is low enough on the card in terms of ability that it kind of evens out that Natsuko and Saya had better wrestlers in terms of in the match. So I figured that one was going to do it. So let's cut to my rewatch thoughts. Let's do it. After doing the rewatch, I have done a complete 180, and I believe the day show is going to take this one. And the reason being that not only is the match better, because Ryo absolutely killed it here, I didn't remember a lot of the stuff Ryo did in the match, so it kind of went past me before the rewatch, but after I realized this is probably the best match she's ever done. And you could probably thank Konami for that a lot, but Ryo really stepped up here. And not only was the wrestling better, the story was better. Now, how is it better when it's the same story? Well, see, the way I see it is that Ryo is a much more of an underdog than Saya is, and Konami is much more of a giant or hurdle to pass than Natsuko is. So you have a much lower underdog trying to beat a much higher giant. And in my opinion, that made it a much better story because Ryo didn't give up until the very end. She never gave up once. She just tried over and over to try to beat Konami, even though there was absolutely zero chance of that ever happening. So the winner of the first match is going to go to the day show. And I'm going to keep a tracker here on the screen. I'm not entirely sure where, but let's leave it a surprise. On to the next match. The second match of a show, in my opinion, is only really important if the opening match bombs. It is in pretty much the most throwaway match, and it's primarily there, in my opinion, to just give the opening match some backup in case it doesn't really fully pump the crowd up. The day show had Saya Iida versus Natsu Sumire, while the night show had Ryo Onozaki versus Andres Miyagi. Let's see, which one's going to be better. So before rewatch thoughts, I think I'm going to have to give it to the day show. I felt like the match was just much more entertaining. It might not have been better in terms of wrestling because Miyagi is just absolutely insane. I feel like the entertainment Sumire brought to it is going to give this one a win. So let's cut to the after rewatch thoughts to see if they still get it. So yeah, like I thought, the day is still going to get the win here just because Sumire absolutely killed it with her banter in this match. She is just so entertaining. Every time I think she's going to be stale or I'm going to get tired of her antics, she just revitalizes. She reinvents herself a little bit more and she adds more to the match. And this was absolutely hilarious. Her whole banter on the turnbuckle is what cinched this one. The one thing I would like to bring up about this match, though, is that I'm starting to sour a little bit on Saya. Now, before you jump in my head in the comments, I'm not saying I dislike her. I just feel like for her to not stagnate, she needs something more now. For as good as she is and where she is on the card, she needs more than just drop kicks. I feel like she's at the time where she needs to start adding moves that are unique to her to kind of stand out, to freshen up her match. I mean, look at Leo. Leo hasn't even won a match yet, but she has a much wider moveset than Saya already, and a lot of her movesets have movement-based antics to them, like her running back elbow or the running crossbody to the lower rope, which, in my opinion, is an awesome move. I love that move, by the way. So, like, when you think of Leo, you think running, throwing body type moves. It's kind of unique to her right now. Whereas Saya, the only thing she has going for her is that she's short and drop kicks. And I'm like I said, I'm not saying I dislike Saya. I'm just saying that she needs something more now. She needs to advance. So, another point to the day. That makes it 2-0. I didn't really think this one through, that if one show were to win the first 3, then it pretty much guaranteed that they would win. But luckily, and I didn't plan any of this, that's not how it goes, which is a spoiler for the next part. So let's get to it. The mid-match, middle of the show. This match is pretty important in my opinion because it kind of serves two purposes. It's supposed to revitalize you if you are getting burnt out by this time. It's supposed to get you pumped up for the rest of the stretch of the show. And then this other purpose is to kind of convince people that the show isn't going to be bad if they didn't like the first 2 matches. It's a pretty important match in terms of placement, in my opinion, and I feel like both shows did a pretty good job picking the people for it. The day show had Starlight Kid versus Andres Miyagi, while the night show decided to do a tag match this time with B. Priestley and Momo Watanabe versus Kagetsu and Natsu Sumire. And I believe both choices were very good. It's a very good people to have in the middle. So let's get to this and see which one did better. Pre-watch, I would have to give this to the tag match. Mostly because everyone in this is just so amazing. Everyone brought it their A+ game here, which is pretty awesome. It's kind of a dreamish match. If Sumire was, replaced with someone else, it would probably be better, but it was pretty great with her in it as well. One of the main focuses of this match, though, that I remembered before pre-watch was that B absolutely brought it here. I don't know if she's just trying to prove all the haters wrong or something, but she is killing it. She's so fast, so fluid. Right now, I would have to say she's probably my favorite foreigner. I mean, her hard-hitting moveset and her love for Queen's Quest make her hard to hate, she's really awesome. So let's rewatch and see where things go. After doing the rewatch, it's still the same. The tag match definitely won here. Even though the tag match was the clear winner, I would like to say from the day show, Miyagi is absolutely amazing. She's great at everything. She has top-notch charisma. She's fast, she's powerful, and she's a great technical wrestler as well. And I don't know what she could possibly be beaten on. I mean, she's top star quality here, guys. But there was just too much awesomeness here for any match to really compete with this. I mean, we have Kagetsu getting to show off her amateur wrestling abilities in the beginning with Momo. We have B being an absolute beast here with some of the most hard-hitting and awesome-looking knee strikes I've probably ever seen. We have Momo taking the win. And then we also have Sumire straddling and spanking Momo with a paddle. So I think it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. This is kind of a touchy topic for a lot of people, and I'm just going to talk about it right here so I never have to really talk about it again. I know that's not how it works, but whatever. So I'm just going to lay my opinion and where I stand on this, and then and then I'll never have to excuse anything I say in the future. So, Stardom is a very appearance-based promotion. They focus a lot on the appearance and the sex appeal of their wrestlers. They regularly put out photo books of their talent wearing skimpy clothes to like bikinis and things like that. They have segments like Samire and her Bronco Buster and her straddling and spanking Momo. It's just a part of wrestling in Stardom. You can see, and I'm on the stance that I think it's perfectly okay, and it's okay. Not only is it okay, it's okay to enjoy it. Yes, I'm a male. I enjoy that stuff. I'm not going to apologize for it. Call me a perv if you want, but I'm not going to get upset at some women using their femininity and their sex appeal to a wider audience. Honestly, I think this whole thought process that if someone enjoys when a women wrestler uses their sex appeal or something sexy happens in the ring, aka paddle, that they're a perv or that they're a bad person or that they're sexist or something like that, I honestly think that is ridiculous. Honestly, I believe it's more sexist to think that they can't do that because you don't think it's proper for a woman to be doing that. So, you guys know my stance. I'm not backing down on this. I think it's a part of wrestling. I mean, just look at all of the hubbub Scarlett Bordeaux or whatever had when she debuted her new character, where she basically came out in Victoria's Secret lingerie. I mean, if that's what she wants to do, that's what she wants to do. Hate a wrestler for their wrestling ability. Don't hate them because they're using their God-gifted sex appeal. So, with that said, I'm going to be mentioning things like that from now on, and I'm going to give my opinion on them, whether I like them or dislike them. If you're just going to leave a comment saying that I'm a perv or that I get so many comments about how I'm like insecure and that I like these women because I think I have a chance with them. Like it honestly makes me laugh. So if you're just going to do that, that's fine. I'm not going to delete your comment. I'm not that type of YouTuber. But just know that we're all laughing at you. Or at least the people who I consider the people open-minded enough to not be a Puritan about this stuff. Now, with that out of the way, the clear winner of this is the night show, making it 2-1 with the day show winning. So this next show could be the all-end be-all, with the day show taking the whole day, or it could be a tie, making the main event a tiebreaker. Let's see. The fourth match and the semi-main event of the show. This show is regularly a strong contender for match of the night, only usually being beaten by the main event. This one, before even doing the rewatching, I knew it was going to be tough to choose because we just have two super amazing, super awesome shows here. Or matches, I should say. It's mind-boggling how they can have pretty much half their roster injured right now and still put on an amazing card. That's what having a big roster does for you, I guess. So, the fourth match of each time. The day show decided to go with a tag match with Momo Watanabe and B. Priestley versus Saki Kashima and Arisa Hoshiki. The night show was made up of a 3-on-3 between TCS or Tokyo Cyber Squad versus Stars. Tokyo Cyber Squad being made up of Hana Kimura, Jungo Kiona, and Konami, while Stars was being made up of Arisa Hoshiki, Saki Kashima, and Starlight Kid. Before the rewatch, I'm going to have to go with the night show just because it's really hard to beat Hana, Jungle, and Konami right now when they're together. They are just so entertaining. They are, like I described them before, they are like 2017, early 2018 levels of Odo Tai entertainment here. They are so perfect and they mesh so well together. And that's just the entertainment aspect of it, like the charisma part. them in the ring is phenomenal. You have 3 amazing wrestlers in here, and I don't care what people say. I believe Hana is at least a great wrestler. And obviously Jungle and Konami are right up there too. They're above her, in my opinion. So let's do the rewatch to see if it might change my mind, because right now it's going to be a tiebreaker. So just did the rewatch and nothing has changed. TCS definitely took the win here. It's just so hard to combat them in terms of entertainment right now that it would take an absolute perfect match for them to lose out here. While everyone in both matches absolutely killed it here, I think the 2 MVPs of the shows were Hana Kimura and Jungle Kyona. Them in this match shined so bright. Hana had numerous moments in this match where she was just so awesome to watch. 2 very particular ones I would like to point out, though, are ones that showcase her strength, because apparently to some people she's just all looks, so I'm trying to give reasons why that's a bunch of bull. Now, Hana is deceptively strong, like really strong for what she looks like. It's kind of like Kagetsu, except Kagetsu actually does look strong. The 2 instances I'm talking about, one is when she deadlifts Saki Kashima into a deadlift pickup suplex. I don't know the official name for it. Me personally have always just called it a deadlift suplex, but let me know if I'm wrong. Now, the other moment is when she is holding Saki like to the side with her back pointed to the ground, and she's spinning her, and then she slams her down on the ground. It was so awesome. I honestly really love that move, by the way. It's kind of one of my favorite things in wrestling. I don't know. I don't know too many people who do it. I think it's one of those moves Baron Corbin does. I'm not really sure. I don't really watch WWE. I don't really watch WWE anymore. So those 2 moments were absolutely awesome, and they really showcase how strong and talented Hana is at wrestling. Now, the reason why I decided to give the other MVP for this show slot, the 4th slot, to Jungle, was that she was shining so bright in her spots in this. I'm a big fan of Jungle, so anytime she looks good, I love. And in this match, there are many times where she's just doing some really cool strength stuff, and she's really, really thriving here in TCS. Like, really thriving. The reason why I think she's thriving is because I don't believe she's a good leader. And I think that's one, I don't know if that's supposed to be the storyline or not, but that's kind of the headcanon I'm going with, is that she's not a good leader. And the reason why she is thriving in TCS is because she's backseat leading. Now, I know that makes no sense because I'm saying she's not a good leader, but she's thriving because she's a backseat leader. And what I mean is that Hana is taking all the responsibility of TCS. She needs to make it entertaining. She needs to keep it entertaining. She needs to get people on their side. While Jungle seems to kind of have more pull in the group, even more than Hana does. I mean, she's always kind of pushing Hana around and kind of like talking over her in an authoritative way in certain instances. And I believe that, like, while Hana's the face and the leader of the group, Jungle is kind of the one that has the authority. Yeah. One thing I would like to point out about this match, though, is that it has a very rare moment. A moment in which a team attack actually ends the match. In a lot of matches, the team will come in, they'll do their team attack, they'll all attack, and then they'll go for the pin, and they just kick out, and then they fight for a little bit, and then that person does their finisher, and then the match is over. But in this one, it actually finished with the team attack. They did their team attack. Jungle held up, I believe it's Saki, and Hana got up, did a drop kick off the top rope, pinned Saki, 1, 2, 3, over. It was incredibly surprising. And I guess this is an instance where you can show or point to when people say that team attacks are worthless. They're like, hey, it worked this time, Before I say who the winner is, even though we know it's the night, I would like to talk about Saki a little bit, though. I love Saki right now. She's in my top 4. I think she is one of the best wrestlers in Stardom. She is absolutely phenomenal in the ring. She's so crisp. Her moveset is limitless. She's so good at that moveset. She never fails in the ring. She's so entertaining. But she doesn't have a personality. She's kind of bland. She's just kind of a regular person. And in a promotion with some of the most charismatic people I've ever seen, she doesn't stand out at all. So while she's kind of like Jungle in a way, where Jungle and Saki kind of lose a lot, or at least Saki is right now, the difference is I hated when Jungle lost because I wanted to back her. She was, this underdog. But for Saki, I don't really care if she wins or loses. I just like seeing her wrestle because she's really good at it. There's nothing to really get behind for her. And I'm hoping that the setup that they did here is going to be some kind of like Natsuko redemption where she kind of starts shining again. Whereas Natsuko just needed to get better at wrestling, Saki kind of needs to get a personality. So the winner of the 4th match is obviously the night show, making it a tie 2-2. And now the main event is going to be the tiebreaker. The main event is the most important match of the show. It doesn't necessarily have to be the best match of the show, as another show could steal its thunder, but it definitely, in my opinion, has to be the most important match. Now that can be in one of 2 ways, either a blood feud or a title match, and both of these do that. The day show has TCS versus Odo Tai, Hana Kimura, Jungle Kyona, and Death Yamasan versus Odo Tai, which is Kagetsu, Hazuki, and Natsuko Tora. Well, the night show is a title match for the high-speed belt, Hazuki versus Death Yamasan. Now, obviously, both of these matches fit my 2 criteria. The first one is a feud, Hana and Odo Tai, and the second one is a title match. So let's see which one was better. Unfortunately, I feel like the night show is at a disadvantage here. This is all pre-watch thoughts. So the high-speed match was at a disadvantage right from the beginning because I don't believe high-speed matches are main event caliber for a number of reasons. One is that they're just too quick, they're over too soon. A great main event, in my opinion, is a slow build to an absolute war with a conclusive ending, whereas a high-speed match is the exact opposite. It's fast and most of the time anticlimactic. That's the other reason, is that they usually end very quickly and without fanfare, and that's not main event to me. So right off the bat, the night show is at a severe disadvantage, and mostly because they're also going against TCS, and right now, like I said, a match needs to be absolutely perfect for it to beat them right now, in my opinion. So let's rewatch this to see if maybe the night, can steal it. So I honestly wasn't expecting to change my mind at the time of writing this script and stuff, but I believe the night did win. Now, the reason for that is, like I said before, it would take an absolute perfect match to beat TCS right now, and Hazuki and Death Yamasan gave us an absolute perfect match. It was phenomenal. It was so crisp and fluid and enticing. There was always something to catch you. I mean, if you were getting bored of the high speed, they did a little hold there for a little bit. If you're getting bored with that, someone brought out a chair. It was so good. I mean, I always knew that, Kaori was good, obviously, but she didn't really get to show that in Stardom because of her place on the card. She was lower because she was always wrestling the younger girls. Here, neither one of them held back. They brought their 100% and then pulled out another 100%. It was so good. Some major highlights, like I said, the chair shot when Hazuki was attempting the suicide dive was done so well, in my opinion. I mean, a lot of the times when someone gets hit when they're doing a suicide dive, they kind of like obviously stop and then get hit and then kind of like fall over. Hazuki don't do that. She just goes right into that chair. It was so good. Important thing to know here is that we now have 2 teams that are willing to fight down and dirty with weapons, and this is going to be interesting from here on out to see if it's just going to be a Death Yama-san thing, because we know that Hana is not against weapon use either. So it's going to be interesting to see where things go from here in Stardom in terms of that, because now we have 2 kind of heel groups that are willing to cheat to win in certain aspects. Whereas I feel like the stances are, stars are more towards the face, because no one's really a face or a heel in Stardom, but stars are more towards the face, and then they're kind of like in between tweener and face. And then Queen's Quest I would put in tweener, and then TCS I would put in between tweener and heel, and then Odotai would be like a little bit past them, but not towards heel. It's pretty great in my opinion. I've always hated every team needs to be a face or a heel. If they're not a face or a heel, then what's the point of them wrestling? I don't know, maybe a storyline? People. This was by far Hazuki's best defense yet. Like, no question. You can try to convince me if you want. There was nothing that she has done yet in terms of the high-speed belt that can even come close to matching this. This was an absolute masterpiece of a match. The only thing that could beat it is the promised Saki versus Hazuki match that we're going to get, which could be absolutely killer. While I still hold the opinion that high-speed matches make lousy main events, this one was just so perfect that it was just kind of impossible to beat. So the win goes to the Night Show. For those of you counting at home, that makes 3-2 with a Night winning. When I decided to make this video, I hadn't watched the shows yet, and I just kind of assumed that the Night Show was going to win every single match. And the reason for that is because I've always kind of seen doubleheader shows like this, where it's one in the day, one in the night, as the wrestlers kind of saving themselves or reserving themselves during the day to make sure the night show was more epic. But I don't believe that there was a single person in any of the matches that didn't bring their best to put on a good show during that day show. And that's why they won too. There were a couple where I was kind of flip-floppy a little bit and I had to really think about it. And then after rewatching, I had to sit there and I'm like, man, they were just so good. I don't know which one. So that was an amazing day. That was just an amazing day of shows, in my opinion. And that's with so many important people injured. Azumi, Utami, Tam, Mayu. Jeez. Before I end the video, I would just like to make some last statements that apply to either show that I just kind of got after watching them, because I watched them both at the same time, back to back, the first time, and then the rewatches. First thing I would like to talk about is that Leo Onozaki is improving so much. She has gotten so much better than she used to be. I know I kind of talk about her a lot more than usual, and people are obviously, they're like, oh my god, you're so biased. Why do you even like her so much? She's not that good. I just see potential in her, I think that if she works really hard and she puts a lot of effort in, that I think she could really go somewhere. I think she has a lot of potential in her, and I want her to reach that potential, because if she reaches that potential, that means better matches for us. I don't know why anybody would see a wrestler and want them to not be good. That just means worse shows for you. Next would be, I'd have to comment on Sumire's new outfit. It looks really good. I really like it. It's obviously just kind of the same exact outfit as the other one, but one big difference I've noticed is that the side cutouts on the hips are gone now, which you guys probably know by now. I'm pretty sure I brought it up before, is I always found that really unflattering for her. It kind of made her look fatter than she is, because her her body shape just didn't fit that design in my opinion. So I think this one is definitely better for her, and it definitely fits her gimmick. You know, people always talk about Hana relying on her looks, but Samiri is literally, her character is sex appeal. Like, so yeah, she's definitely killing it with the outfit. The only thing I would like to note on is that part of the material that's used, like the black part, in certain positions, like with her arms lifting or like creasing or whatnot, and the material like folding or creasing, it makes it look really cheap, kind of like how Leo's outfit always looked cheap. Other than that, I think the outfit is really great, and I'm excited for her to have a new outfit because she definitely, needed one, not because the old one was bad, but because it's been so long, since the change. Bea Priestley is absolutely living up to her position as the red belt holder, in my opinion. When she first got it, I kind of assumed, like with a lot of people, that she was just going to be a transitional champion. And I was okay for that. I'm like, yeah, that's great. But the way she's been acting lately and, the swagger about her, I honestly believe that she deserves better than a traditional champion right now. She deserves a full run with this. And I would love it if she did. I know some people are going to hate that because some people have a very irrational hatred for her. But I'm behind her. I support her. And I'm not saying that if you don't like Bea, then you're being irrational. That's not what I said. I said there are some people who have irrational hatred for her. Like the people who can't look past her first stint in Stardom, or the people who just don't like Will and then hate Bea because of it. That's stupid. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my choices. Let me know if you would have thought the other match actually won. I would love to hear your reasons why you think that match actually won. I'm always supportive of discussion and commenting. Like I said, I don't delete negative comments. If you go to my why I don't like the new Hana Kimura video, you will see tons of negative videos or comments. There's a negative comment that just made me laugh so much on my Foreigners of Stardom video, where he was basically just calling me a weeb who only liked the foreigners that made his little Japanese girls look good. His whole comment just ringed of like sexism and racism. It was kind of sad. All right, with all that said, bye. Yes, sir.